in '78, and I was very much in front of the whole make Lotus. Colin Chapman, that was the big chief of Lotus at that time. He made fantastic cars, also in Formula One, and I was very much fond of also the Lotus 7. So I decided, in fact, first of all to import that car in 74, 76. But then I found out that the car was not homologated, was not accepted in Europe, had no homologation. And when I mentioned that, at that time at Caterham, which took over from Lotus, then Caterham said, well, I'm sorry, but none of the cars we do has a homologation. So you have to find your own way in your country. And that's what I did. But in fact, I didn't came very far, because the Dutch authorities, as well as the other European authorities, said, well, the car is too small and the petrol tank is too dangerous. That's where it was put in, and this is not good and that is not. So there were a tremendous lot of things which had to alter. So I went back again to Caterham and said, well, this and this all has to be altered, modified. And then I said, well, it's what I said, I'm sorry, but we cannot help you. And at that time I came to this, let's say, crossroad, or I stopped with the whole business and said, well, unfortunately the Lotus 7 has no homologation, so we have to stop. Or I start making an own Lotus 7, which can be homologated, and that's what I did. And after a while we made a different car, the so-called the S8, and after that a different car again, the D8, and now the GT and the GTO. So yes, slowly we went our own direction, and Caterham went their direction, and so that means now it's totally two totally different vehicles.
Dan wil ik dat niet zomaar eruit halen en dan...
Well, you can say that because of the crisis in Europe, it is the whole car industry is more difficult than years before, and that you see also in the small series car manufacturing. On the other hand, when other small car manufacturers are going bankrupt, that leaves us more market share. And well, by incident, you can say, by coincidence, we had our new car last year, this year in fact. And this new car has started very well. So that means for us, we have no crisis. We have only crisis in delivery time. So that's a good thing in fact.
Is a big waiting list for this one?
Yes, of course, the point is that we have to start up production. That's what we are doing right now, but that takes some time. And of course the orders for the car are easily made. Mm-hmm. So that means we got a lot of orders for the car, and now of course we have to work for getting the production started. The most important thing is that that the car is quite light, around 700 kilos, and the power is quite high with the 5-cylinder from Audi, 380 horsepower. So that means that's quite a fast car. especially because it's lights, it's very easy to drive, and it's giving you a lot of joy because everything is direct without the assistance of all kind of electronics or hydraulic devices which is helping you braking, steering. Or traction control, yes, there is a traction control, but that's more a safety net. That means if you are driving at ease on the highway and it starts to rain and you don't want to be surprised by a certain loss of traction because you're accelerating, then it's nice to know that there is a traction system. You say, well, the standard is the base, and after the base you can say, well, I'm not interested in any track day use at all, so I'm only interested in touring, going on holiday and have a comfortable car where I can pack a lot of luggage, etc. So that's a different approach, and for that we make a different car. But still it can be a car which is equipped with a lot of, let's say, expensive accessories. But you can also go in the other direction, the more race direction, and then I say, well, I don't care about expensive accessories, but it's more about the most sportive accessories, and that's then the performance car. So the touring car has, for instance, 340 horsepower, is equipped with well, a nice leather interior and having some comfortable, more comfortable dampers or springs. But the race car has, for instance, more, let's say, dampers and springs which are harder, more precise. Also about the steering, the rack and pinion ratio is different, more horsepower, 380 horsepower, and also the total equipment is more carbon fiber and more direct, less leather, more pure. If they like to buy a GTO, well, first of all they need to get acquainted with the car, so they make a test drive. And then of course they make a choice of the specifications, and when they say yes, that's the car I want, then they make a deposit of 50,000 euros, and then they wait for something like 1 year, and then we make the car especially for them. Most of the time they return to have just a sit in a new car without they're not totally finished, but to see if the pedals are right, the seat is right, and then we can still change, let's say, the dashboard or the pedals or the steering wheel or the seat or whatever, the height of the seat. And so we're making step for step, we make it ready for the delivery. Well, when the car is finished, then most of the time we also know what kind of customer it is. Is it a touring customer, or is it, let's say, more or less that race customer? And what kind of experience does he have? And the experience, depending on the experience, we do a course, a driving course.
How many cars you're building per year?
Well, I think we hope to finish this year 25 cars, next year around 35, 40 cars, etc. So over the years to a maximum of around about 60 cars a year.